Good morning, students. How are you? I hope you all are doing well and ready for today's session, isn't it? So, before we start today's session, let me discuss some important points regarding the Google Classroom. Okay, so dear students, maximum of you have joined the Google Classroom with your own name, and it's really good. Okay, and the students, those who have not joined using your own name and you have joined by using your parents account, please, it's my request, create a new account with your own name and rejoin the Google Classroom, because it's very difficult to remember the parents name. Okay, because in my side, whenever I open the Google Classroom and whenever I will check your assignments, if you send with your own Google account, okay, if you have created your Google account and if you have joined the Google Classroom with your own Google account, it's become very easy for me to track who have submitted the homework. Otherwise, if you have joined by using your parents account, it's really difficult because I do not know your parents name. Okay, so it's my request, please create a Google account with your own name and rejoin the Google Classroom. And while submitting the assignment, please follow the procedure as shown in the last class video. Okay, I have already sent you a video in which I have explained how you have to attach your assignment whenever I have given you any homework or classwork. All right, so let's start the session. Okay, now before we start the session, let's do a quick recap of what we have done in the last class. So, dear children, in the last class we have learned about formulas and its two types. Remember? So, what is a formula? Let me tell you. A formula is an expression that includes cell address, numbers, arithmetic operators, and parentheses, isn't it? Then we have learned about the two formula. What are they? Number one, basic formula, and number two, compound formula. What are basic formula? Do you remember? Let me tell you. Basic formulas involve only one operator in a formula. Remember? And whereas compound formula, they are used when you need more than one operator to perform the calculation. Isn't it? Now, dear children, let us move on to today's session. Today we are going to learn about number one, text formula and using a range in formula. Then we will learn about types of cell references. Then finally we will learn about cell reference of another worksheet. Alright, so let's start the session. So dear children, how to use text formula? Alright, so dear children, please remember that we can perform addition on character and string data type. Remember, what are text? Text are nothing but character or string, isn't it? Now, dear children, just remember one important thing, that when we use text formula, we can use only addition. Other operations like subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. are not allowed. Alright, and also we use the symbol ampersand. Alright, which symbol we can use? Ampersand for addition. Okay, now why we need to use text formula? So the answer is, when we want to join two or more texts together, we use text formula, and the process is known as concatenation. What is the name of the process? Concatenation. Alright, so let us see how to do or how to use text formula. So let's start. So dear children, please consider the example in order to understand the method of how to use text formula. And what is the name of the process? The process is concatenation. That means you are joining two or more text values together. That means, suppose I want to join the value in column A and column B together in column C. So how can we do it? Alright, so for that, what you have to do? Follow the steps as shown. You have to double click on the cell. Okay, and what is the cell address? C1. Alright, now what we have to do? We have to make the content in A1 and B1 to be joined together, and the result should appear here. Alright, so for that, what we will do, we will type the formula. So let's start. You will first start any formula with what, dear children? You have to use the equal to symbol. Okay. After that, you have to give the address, isn't it? So how to give the address? What is this one? What is the address of kids? A1, isn't it? So you will type A1. Okay, then which symbol you have to use? You have to use the ampersand symbol. Remember, you have to use the ampersand symbol. After that, you have to give the cell address of India. What is the cell address? B1. So you just type B1. Okay. After that, what you will do, dear children? You just press the enter key. So see what we got? We got the result. Okay. What is this? Nothing but the two words of cell address A1 and B1 together. It's appearing in cell C1. Okay, all of you are clear. Dear children, please remember that this is not only the way to concatenate two words. Alright, there is one more method. How? Just look in cell D1. Okay, you start the formula using the equal to symbol. Okay, then you can type the words. Alright, that is
Totals are different.
KIPS within double inverted comma, then give the ampersand symbol, then again give double inverted comma, then type India. Okay, then you simply press enter key. See, you get the same result. Okay, both the result will be the same. In one we have used the cell address, and in another word another formula we have used the what? We have used the words. Okay. I hope all of you are clear. Now, the next thing which we are going to learn is about using a range in formula. Alright. How to use range in formula. So dear children, please remember that you can assign multiple cells to a formula by creating a reference or a range. Alright, again I am repeating. You can assign multiple cells to a formula by creating a self-reference or a range. Why we will use range in formula? The answer is use of range saves a lot of time. Okay, we use range in formula in order to save a lot of time. Okay, so let us see one example. So dear children, as you know that if you use range in a formula will save a lot of time, isn't it? Let us see how. Consider the example as shown on the screen. Suppose you wanted to calculate the total cell amount. Okay, how you can do it within a second. For that, you just click on cell B11. How cell B11, or why this cell is known as B11? Because this belongs to column B and row number 11. Okay, so double click on it, give the equal to symbol followed by sum, open the bracket and go to cell B4. Just give a left click, then drag your mouse and release the left mouse button. Okay, after that you close the bracket and just press enter. You will see that the sum value will be displayed in the cell B11. Okay, so you have seen within a second we got the total amount under the sales column. Okay, I hope all of you are clear. Next topic, self references. So dear children, what are self references? The cell address in the formula is known as cell reference. Okay, again I am repeating. What is a cell reference? The cell address in the formula is known as cell reference. Alright, for example A1, B6, etc., where A denotes the column name and 1 denotes the row number. Okay, so I hope all of you are clear. Now please remember that there are types of cell references. Number 1 is relative cell reference, number 2 absolute reference, and number 3 mixed reference.
So let us understand what are these cell references. Okay, one by one. Number one, relative cell reference. Okay, number one is relative cell reference. All right. Now, what are relative cell reference? When you create a formula, references to a cell or ranges are usually based on the position relative to the cell. Okay, and when you copy or move the formula to other cells, the reference cell automatically get changed. Alright, so let us see one example. So dear children, consider the example as shown on the screen. So just few minutes back you have seen that how to use the reference in a formula, isn't it? Now you have also seen that when we have calculated the total value of sales, we have done what? We have given equal to symbol followed by sum and the range. Alright, and you have seen that the column name is same in the cell reference, isn't it? That means since you are calculating in cell B11, so you have selected the range and so the column name remains the same, isn't it? Now let us see how relative reference help us or how to use relative reference. Now for example, let us calculate the total expenses. Okay, what is the formula which you will use for relative reference? Okay, so what is the formula? For that, you just come back to cell B11 first. Okay, just you give one click on the cell. After that, you copy it. How to copy? You just press the copy button at the top, or you can press Ctrl C. Alright, after that you go to cell C11, just give one click and paste it. Okay, you can paste from the clipboard by clicking on the paste over here, or else you can press Ctrl V. See, you got the answer as 1300. How you got this answer? Okay, is this correct? Let us see. Look at the formula bar, equal to sum C4 colon C9. Am I correct? Is this formula is correct? The answer is yes. But we have done by using the relative reference. Okay. Please note down that C11 has a self-reference from C4 to C9 instead of B4 to B9. Usually what happens when you copy and paste, the same thing gets copied, isn't it? But in Microsoft Excel, whenever you are using the copy paste option with a formula, or from if you are copying a cell which contains a formula and if you paste in another cell, the cell reference happens, okay, and it automatically changes the column name, okay, as you have seen over here. Note down the difference.
Okay, B11.
Is having the formula sum B4 colon B9. But when you have copied the same formula to the cell C11, the formula has changed. That means the range has changed. It has changed from B4 is colon B9 to C4 colon C9. Alright, I hope all of you are clear. Now, the next type of cell reference, absolute cell reference. What are absolute cell reference, dear children? Absolute cell reference is used when we do not want to change the address of the cell on copying the formula to the particular cell. Alright, and to make absolute reference of a formula, we have to add the dollar symbol before the column and row number. Alright, so let us see one example which will help you to understand the concept of absolute reference. Dear children, let us calculate the incentive at the rate of 10% on monthly sales. Okay, again I'm repeating, let us calculate the incentive at the rate of 10% on monthly sales in order to understand the self reference. All right. So at first, step 1, we will type 10% in the cell D1 as shown on the screen. I have already typed. Okay. I have typed 10% in cell D1. All right. Now click on cell D4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to cell D4. Just give one click. Then type equal to B4, then followed by asterisk, then the dollar symbol, because in absolute reference we use dollar sign before the column and the row number, isn't it? So I have given the dollar symbol. Then where is the 10% I have typed? In cell D1, isn't it? So just before the column name, I have typed dollar symbol, then I'll give the column name followed by again dollar symbol. Then what is the row number of 10%? 1, isn't it? So just type 1. Okay, and just press enter key. Okay, the cell D4 displays the value 100. Alright, now why 100? Because the first cell address has no dollar sign, so its relative reference, and the second cell address is fully absolute. Alright, therefore when the cell is copied, the first one will change the reference in the new location, but the second will remain the same, that is $D $1. Okay, now the children copy the formula when the pointer changed to a copy pointer plus, then drag the selected formula to the rest of the cell. Okay, again I'm repeating. Now dear children, you have to copy the formula. Okay, how will copy? Just place the pointer in such a way that it changes to a plus symbol as you can see on the screen. Okay, then click and drag the selected formula to the rest of the cell. Alright, and leave the mouse button. You will see that the incentive amount will get calculated automatically. Alright, now the third type of cell reference is known as mixed reference. Alright, now what are mixed reference? Mixed reference is a combination of relative and absolute reference. And in this type of reference, either row or column has to be remain fixed. Okay, I'm repeating again. Mixed reference is a combination of relative and absolute reference, and in this type of reference either row or column has to remain fixed. Okay, now let us consider an example which will help you to understand the concept of mixed reference. Alright, so let us see. So dear children, we have learned that mixed references is nothing but combination of relative and absolute reference, isn't it? So in this type of reference, either row or column has to be remain fixed. Yes or no? So how to do it? Let us calculate the actual expenses. Alright, we will calculate the actual expenses. And what is the formula? Formula is expenses minus 50. Alright, now in order to calculate the actual expenses of all the expenses for all the months, what we will do, we will use mixed reference formula. How? Let us see. Step number 1. Type 50 in cell D2, then click on cell E4 and type equal to $C4. Alright, equal to $C4. As you can see on the screen, the cell C4 is getting selected automatically. It has turned, the border has turned from black to blue. Alright, then what you will do? You have to subtract 50. So instead of typing 50, I'll give the cell address. Alright, so how to give the cell address? You have to type D $2. Alright, D $2. 2 and then just press enter. So see, the actual expenses you have got 150. Isn't it correct? See, 200 minus 50 is how much? 150. So you got 150 over here. Now, if you want to do or if you want to calculate the actual expenses for whole year, okay, this is actual expenses for January month. Now, if you want to calculate up to June, what you will do? You just make the mouse pointer changes to the plus symbol as you have done in order to calculate the incentive amount. Just make the mouse pointer or position the mouse pointer in such a way that it has changed to the plus pointer. Then click and drag and release the mouse button. Okay, you will find that the actual expenses will get calculated automatically. And if you want to verify, see, suppose how you got this actual expenses of E9 by subtracting 50 from C9. So 275 minus 50 is how much? 225, isn't it? So the answer is correct. Are you clear? I hope all of you are clear with the example, isn't it? The next topic, cell reference of another worksheet. Now, what is the meaning of it? The meaning is you can use the cell reference of one worksheet in another worksheet. And remember, this can be done in two ways. Number one, using copy paste option. Number two, using sheet reference. Okay, I'm repeating again. Cell reference of another sheet means that you can use a cell reference of one worksheet in another worksheet, and it can be done in two ways. Number one, using copy paste option. Number two, using sheet reference. All right. So let us see one example which will help you to understand how we can refer the cell reference of one worksheet in another worksheet. Okay, so let's do it. Consider the example as shown on this screen, in which we will try to understand how to use the cell reference of one worksheet to another worksheet. And we have learned about the two methods. Remember, one is using copy paste option, another one is using sheet reference. So let us see the first method. For that, step number one is you click on sheet 2 and enter the data as shown on the screen. Okay, just enter the data as shown on the screen. After that, you click on sheet tab 1. Okay, at the bottom, see sheet tab 1. This one. Just give a click. Then click on cell B11. Okay, then type the formula as shown on the screen, equal to sum. Open the bracket, click on B2 and drag and leave the mouse button. After that, just close the bracket and press enter. Alright, after that, what you will do? You just click on B11, then copy this by just right click over it and choose the option copy. Now click on sheet tab 2 and click on the cell B11 and paste. You can either click on the paste option from the clipboard or by pressing the Ctrl V keys from the keyboard, you can just paste. Okay, see, have you seen what happened just now? The formula is getting copied automatically over here. See, the formula bar, sum B2 colon B7. Okay, so this is how you can use the copy paste option, and in which the formula is getting directly copied from one sheet to another. Alright, now if you want to see the value, the change in value, you just reduce the salary over here. Okay, let me just reduce and let me make as 300 so that you can understand the value is different. See here, the value is what? 3,35,104, and in sheet 1 the value is 3,57,026. So both, isn't it? So have you noticed when we have used copy paste option, instead of value the formula is getting copied. Okay, so this is how you will use the cell reference of one worksheet to another using the copy paste option. Alright, now let us see how to use the second method, that is how to use sheet reference. Alright, in sheet reference, it uses sheet number, exclamation mark, and cell address. Okay, so consider the example as shown on the screen. Step 1 is click on cell C4, then type equal to B4 plus the sheet name, sheet 1, then exclamatory mark. Okay, the exclamation mark. After that we will give the cell address of B4 from sheet 1. B4 from sheet 1. After that we will just press enter. Alright, can you see the value is what? 46516. How we are getting? We are adding the value of B4 from this sheet, and we are adding the value of B4 from sheet 1. Alright, here the value is what? 23258. Here the value is 23258, and we are getting the sum as this one. But some of you might get confused because as you have seen that both the value of B4 in sheet 1 and sheet 2 is same. So you might think there is something wrong. So let me change the value over here. I'll just change it to say 20. Okay. Now see the value will get changed. Okay. Have you seen? And if you are still confused, let me type over here 20 equal to 20. The B4 value is 20 in sheet 2, and in sheet 1 is what? 23258. So plus 23258, and just press enter. See, you are getting the same value, isn't it? Yes or no? So the formula is correct, isn't it? So dear children, you have seen that how to use sheet reference. What you have to do, you just have to give the cell address from the current sheet plus the sheet name from where you want to get the value of a particular cell, followed by the exclamation mark and the cell address of sheet 1. So dear children, I hope all of you are clear with the concept of today's objective, isn't it? So at first we have learned about text formula. Yes or no? So what are text formula? In text formula we are doing concatenation, the process of joining two or more text values together with the help of the ampersand symbol. Alright, then we have used the range in formula. Alright, how we have used? We have used a range formula by assigning multiple cells to a formula by creating reference or a range. Alright, and it saves a lot of time. Yes or no? And dear children, please make a note that range names are not case sensitive. Point number 2, the first character must be a letter, an underscore, or a backslash. Okay. And the third point is that the range name must not be the same as a cell address. Alright. Then we have learned about cell references. What are cell references? The cell address in the formula is known as the cell reference. Then we have learned that there are three types of cell reference. Number 1 is relative reference. Number 2 is absolute reference. Number 3 is mixed reference. What are relative reference? Relative reference are those when we create a formula, reference to a cell or range are usually based on the position relative to the cell. And when we copy or move the formula to other cell, the reference cell automatically gets changed. All right. Then we have learned about the absolute reference. What are absolute reference? Absolute reference is used when we do not want to change the address of the cell on copying the formula to a particular cell. Okay, and to make absolute reference of a formula, we add dollar sign before the column name and row number. Alright, then we have learned about mixed reference. What are mixed reference? Mixed reference is a combination of relative and absolute reference, and in this type of reference, either row or column has to be remain fixed. All right, has to be remain fixed. Then we have learned about cell reference of another worksheet. That means we can use the cell reference of one worksheet to another worksheet. And there are two methods. One is copy paste option, another one is sheet reference. Isn't it?
So, dear students, I hope all of you are clear with today's objective, isn't it? Now, I have uploaded the classwork in the Google Classroom as well as the homework. Please do and submit it in Google Classroom only. Your assignments will not be accepted in my WhatsApp number. So, please do the needful. Okay? And with this, finally, I'll end today's session by saying, dear children, enjoy your online classes. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.